Hi guys, this is Saurav and you're watching my development Sala. So guys, our today's topic is radial now. So before starting, if you haven't watched the video that I had posted regarding the neuroanatomy, so guys go and watch that video. And if you haven't yet my Instagram handle given in the description box, so guys you can go and check out the link. I post many questions and many more exciting content there. So guys, let's come back to the topic. Our topic is the radial nerve. So guys, radial nerve is the largest upper limb and originate from the all root of the brachial plexus, that is the from C5 to the T1 root posterior cord. So guys, as you can see, this is your posterior cord, this blue color where my mouse is pointing. This is a posterior cord, and just down to it, this posterior cord called as the radial nerve. So in axilla, it has mainly relation with the third part of the axillary artery. So as you can see, this is your axillary artery and this is your radial nerve. So the third part of the axillary artery lies anterior to the radial nerve, or you can say the radial nerve lies posterior to the third part of the axillary artery. So in axilla, it gives mainly three branches. The first branch is the branch to the long head of the triceps. The second branch is the branch to the medial head of the triceps. These two are the motor branch, and the last branch is the sensory branch. It is called as the posterior cutaneous nerve of the arm, which provide the sensory innervation to the skin over the back of the arm up to the elbow. Okay, like above the elbow, it's gonna supply the posterior part of the skin. So guys, it exits the axilla at the lower border of the teres major muscle. As you can see guys, this is your teres major muscle, and it exits the axilla at the lower border of the teres major muscle. So after exiting, it enters in the lower triangular space. So I'll show you how it is. So guys, this is your lower triangular space. Laterally it is formed by the humerus, medially it is formed by this muscle, the long head of the triceps, and superiorly it is formed by the teres major muscle. So through this space, the radial nerve will enter in the arm. Okay, so after entering in the arm, it will run beneath the long head of the triceps, and it will run in between the long head of the triceps and the medial head of the triceps. So I had faded this long head. So as you can see, this radial nerve is running beneath the long head of the triceps and is running between the long head and the medial head of the tricep. So after that, it enters in the spiral groove. I will show you how the spiral groove look. So if I will remove the medial head, so guys, so I had removed the medial head. So as you can see, this is a spiral groove. See guys, on the radial nerve from the posterior and the medial side, it is going towards the lateral side. Okay, so it will run in the spiral groove of the humerus along with the profunda brachii. This is a profunda brachii. These two will be running parallelly in the spiral groove. So in the spiral groove, it will give mainly 5 branches. Out of 5, 3 is motor and the rest 2 is sensory. So guys, the motor branches are it will give the innervation to the medial head of the triceps, and it will give the innervation to this muscle, that is the lateral head of the triceps. So you had seen that up to the spiral groove, the radial nerve had given the innervation to all the 3 heads of the triceps. Okay, so the third innervation is, it will give the innervation to the anconeus muscle. I'll show you where's the anconeus muscle. So this is your anconeus muscle. So it will give the innervation to the anconeus muscle also in the spiral groove itself. It is long groove. So at the end of the spiral groove, it will give the innervation to the anconeus muscle also. So the last 2 branches are the sensory branches. They are the lower lateral cutaneous nerve of the arm, which provide the sensory innervation to the skin on the lateral surface of the arm up to the elbow. Okay, so this is the lower lateral cutaneous nerve. In the axilla, we had seen the posterior cutaneous nerve. So let's note the difference between the cutaneous nerve. And the last branch is the posterior cutaneous nerve of the forearm. So it provides the sensory innervation to the skin down to the middle of the back of the forearm up to the wrist. So at the end of the course and the branches, we will see the sensory distribution of the radial nerve in a separate picture. So guys, if you are not getting the thing, don't worry, up to now what we had seen, the three major muscle, that is the three heads of the triceps, were innervated by the radial nerve in the axilla and in the arm. So in the axilla, the long head and the medial head was innervated. In the arm, means in the spiral groove, the medial head and the lateral head is innervated. So now what gonna happen, the radial nerve will come in the anterior compartment. It will pierce the intramuscular septum and it will come in the anterior compartment. So guys, as you can see, this is the radial nerve coming in the anterior compartment. So guys, this is a brachialis muscle and this is a brachioradialis. So initially the radial nerve descends, you can see, let me fade it. So initially the radial nerve descends between the brachialis and the brachioradialis, okay, and later part, while entering in the anterior compartment, it descends between the extensor carpi radialis longus and the brachioradialis. So guys, in the anterior compartment, it gonna supply the innervation to all three muscles with which it is having relation. It gonna supply the brachioradialis, brachialis and the extensor carpi radialis longus. So after that, it will enter in the cubital fossa and it will run downwards, okay. So guys, at the level of the lateral epicondyle, the radial nerve divides into two branches, that is the deep branch, which is also called as the posterior interosseous branch, and the superficial branch, which is called as the superficial branch. So the deep branch in the cubital fossa, here will be cubital fossa. So in the cubital fossa, the deep branch gonna supply two muscle, that is the extensor carpi radialis brevis. So guys, so I will show you the extensor carpi radialis brevis. So guys, actually let me remove the brachioradialis and the, so guys, this is your extensor carpi radialis brevis. So it can supply two muscles. The first one is the ECRB, that is the extensor carpi radialis brevis, and the second one the supinator. So in the cubital fossa itself, it gonna supply two muscles, that is the supinator and the ECRB. So after supplying these two muscles, it will enter in the posterior compartment and it will supply all the muscle, all the extensor muscle that is left, okay. So here the deep branch ends, okay, after supplying all the extensor muscle. Now the course will run for the superficial branch. So guys, this is your superficial branch. So this is your pronator teres and this is supinator. So the superficial branch of the radial nerve will run between the pronator teres and the supinator. So you can see on this muscle, let me remove the flexor carpi radialis. So guys, on this muscle is the flexor digitorum superficialis. So what you can see, it has the relation with all these three muscles, that is the flexor digitorum superficialis, supinator and the pronator teres. So guys, all these three relation is beneath the brachioradialis. So I will add the brachioradialis now. So guys, this is your brachioradialis. So you can see, let me hide it. So you can see all this relation is beneath the brachioradialis. So guys, now what will happen, it will come down below the, or you can say the beneath the brachioradialis. It will come along with the tendon of the brachioradialis. So at the level of the anatomical nerve box, this nerve fill terminates as the cutaneous branch, which is going to provide the sensory innervation to the skin over the lateral part of the dorsum of the hand. It's going to provide the sensory innervation to the dorsal surface of the lateral 3 into like 3.5 of the digit. I will show you in the picture when I will show the sensory innervation. It is very easy. Not okay. Let me see here. Actually, it's going to supply. Actually, if you see in the model, here it will supply the palmar surface. In the dorsal surface, it will supply all these 3.5, like 1, 2, 3.5. It will supply the 3.5 digit of the lateral surface in the dorsum of in the dorsal side. Okay, so guys, this is how So guys, one more thing, it will be above the flexor retinaculum. Okay, this superficial branch is above the flexor retinaculum, and it will supply the sensory innervation to these area. So guys, I hope it's clear. So guys, this innervation up to the elbow is supplied by the posterior cutaneous nerve of the arm, whose branch is given in the axilla. Okay, so guys, this is, as you can see, this is the lateral side. So the lateral side is supplied by the lower lateral cutaneous nerve of the arm, whose branch is given in the spiral groove. And guys, as you can see, this area, that is the middle of the back of the arm. So guys, this innervation is supplied by the posterior cutaneous nerve of forearm. So this branch is also given in the spiral groove itself. So guys, I hope all the concepts for the radial nerve is clear. So guys, at the end we will summarize the radial nerve. So in the axilla, it is posterior to the axillary artery, that is the third part of the axillary artery. It will exit the axilla at the lower border of the teres major muscle. Then it will run beneath, then it will enter in the arm through the lower triangular space, and then it's gonna run between the long head and the medial head of the triceps. It's gonna innervate that two head from the axilla itself, and after coming the arm, it will run the spiral groove, and there it will supply the it will supply the three muscle and the two sensory innervation for the arm and the forearm. Okay, and then it will enter in the cubital fossa, and at the level of the lateral epicondyle, it will divide into deep and the superficial branch. Deep branch gonna supply all the extensor muscle, and superficial branch will run downward beneath the brachioradialis, and in between the ponator teres and the supinator, and it will terminate into the cutaneous branch that gonna supply the dorsal 3.5 of the hand, lateral, from the lateral side. So guys, this was a summary of the radial nerve. Now in the next video we will see about the clinicals of the radial nerve.